So I picked up a few groceries. I've got a few things in the fridge already, but I thought it might be important to talk about grocery shopping in general a little bit while I'm here. I'm driving back home. Really nasty rainy day today. When I make my grocery list, it's all part of, I call it menu planning. That's what I did in the Coast Guard, right? That's more the macro, bigger scale. But it's the same shit for at-home cooking if you're cooking for your family or just yourself or you and your spouse or whatever your situation is. You're still menu planning. That's really what you're doing. So I start with writing down what I'm going to make for the week or at least the first few days of the week and then repeat this process midweek. Then I start looking up my recipes, usually on YouTube, honestly, but whatever social media works too, or whatever blog you like, or whatever cookbook, whatever it is, figure out what recipes you're cooking. Start parsing out the ingredients you'll need for each recipe, multiplied by however much of the recipe you want to make, obviously, right? If you're feeding a couple people, if you're feeding a few people, if you want to make extra to freeze, which I highly recommend. It's always good to do. That's usually how I go through the process, and then after that, I'm writing it down in my little reminder app on my iPhone. Works really well, especially when I'm writing out the ingredients I'll need. Obviously, I'm checking the fridge what I need first, but then I'll categorize it all. So I'll categorize it by usually dry goods, like canned stuff. For instance, I just picked up some penne. I'm making ziti this week, and had to get coconut milk for something my wife made. She made some really salty soup, so we got to even it out with some coconut milk, I think, to help out with the salt amount she added. A little heavy-handed. Oh, come on, buddy. Everybody drives like maniacs when it's raining out for some reason. But, so like I said, I'll break it out by dry goods. I'll break it out by produce, by if I'm getting meat or seafood. And after I start categorizing it, it's going to look really smooth and efficient on the reminder app itself, but then it's going to really improve your efficiency when you're grocery shopping because, at least for me, I break it down by, I do my grocery store left to right, my usual grocery store I go to. So I start off getting the the milk and eggs on the far left, then I break it down by dry goods next, and then at the end of my trip I do all the produce, and some specialty cheeses and breads and stuff like that are down in the same section. But whatever your grocery store layout is, if you're used to one, which you probably go to the same one more often than not, I would imagine. If not, you have like 2 or 3 tops, I would say. If you have more than that, you're doing a lot, and I appreciate you. That's pretty cool. Long story short, though, is just break it down by categorize list, and it's going to improve your life a ton. It's going to make it way easier. You're not going to overshop. You're not going to get, sometimes I get frazzled when I go in a grocery shop for some reason, whether it be, a shitty, rainy, cold day like this, my knees are bothering me or something, or, everybody in the store is kind of like bothered from the rainy, nasty day or something, so you can just pick up on those bad vibes in the store or something. Then I start overshopping. I start grabbing random stuff I don't actually need. So making the list is key, but making the categorized list is extra key. And I think I can figure out, I'll cue it up on the screen next to me as I'm talking so you can kind of see what my reminder list looks like. And it just makes it way easier, because every time you buy something, obviously you check it off the list, and it's just a good feeling in general. There's probably some kind of psychological thing there, but it just improves everything else. And it cuts down on food waste a lot too, which is key, because if you're a normal person, a normal human being, you buy stuff and then you end up eating out or ordering pizza or heating something else up or whatever it is, but you end up not using certain things, and then all that money just goes to waste and you end up throwing out shit, which is the worst feeling ever. At least for me, I hate that because, multiple reasons, right? Waste of money, it's just wasteful in general, but it's never a good thing, obviously. So try not to do that if you can help it. But also another thing, So for instance, I'm making a breakfast skillet this week. I'm making baked ziti. Those are both using egg ingredients, or eggs as the ingredients. I don't know why I word it that way. So that's an important piece of the puzzle too. If you're making food during the week, whatever recipes there, try to have some kind of overlapping ingredients, and that's going to help reduce the food waste too. So for instance, if you're making a couple Italian dishes and you buy a big bushel of parsley, you can more than likely use up all that parsley in those couple recipes. But if you're making only one Italian meal for the week, then you're left with a bunch of leftover parsley, which, maybe you figure out what to do with it, but most likely you won't. And then you got whatever it is, half a bushel, say, of parsley left over. That's all mushy and unusable, and you have to throw it out, and that's more food waste, which we don't want. We don't need, because we're not all rich. We can't all spend frivolously, because we're all just normal people, right, doing our thing. So try to keep that in mind too. It sounds easy, but it's kind of not easy to do. It's really easy not to do and to fail. So just a couple little tips to make your life, I hope, a little bit easier. And out of curiosity, I truly wonder, how many of you actually use a grocery list at all? And if you do you categorize it like I do? Or do you have a better system? Let me know, I'm curious. Like I used to, I guess, I don't know if I'm dating myself at all, but maybe it was pre-iPhone. Now I would have been a young kid. Yeah, I guess I grocery shopped back then. But all that to say, I remember using like a paper list back in the day, I guess. And yeah, I guess even when I was in the Coast Guard, maybe Reminders as an app didn't exist back then. I kind of forget. But I don't know, if you're old school, you use paper lists, let me know in the comments too. I'm curious if anybody's old school that way. But I don't know if you found this interesting at all. Excuse me. If you found this interesting at all, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm having a blast doing this culinary vlog style of videos, and I promise I'll keep improving if you keep watching. And I'll catch you next video.